Yeah, you should be able to, if you want to take the head, right? You want to take the head?
Yeah.
Just grab hold of the ears.
Yeah.
You all right with that? Yeah. So there we go. So this is our little porker. Not a very big one, like we said before. We have had 123, 130 kilo boars up here before. We've had at the stalking show I did this year. We did was it 123 kilos? I think it was 130 kilos.
No, it's
150.
153 kilos.
Yeah.
And just from my Instagram feed, and I'm quite a big girl, but this was a beast.
So yeah, so basically that sort of size, is very difficult to work with.
It took 5 bites to lift it, didn't it?
Yeah. We've got it on the table as opposed to basically hanging it. And the reason I've got it on the table as hanging it is because I'm going to work the skin off from one way, that way, and I'm going to turn it over and work from the other way. So we're going to go round the animal to take the skin off. With boar, you can't punch them out. So basically, something you do deer, you roll your fist through it and basically pull all the skin off. It doesn't work with this stuff. It's sort of like, if you imagine when you get a piece of pork and you've got the rind on the outside of the pork, that space between the rind and the fat, there isn't one. It sort of sticks to the fat, so it makes it quite difficult to do. So we'll take the legs off, and with the legs, they're basically exactly the same as a deer. You look to basically, when you've got these legs, if you look at the leg here, see it's quite stiff on the hoof. Once you've cut through the tendons, they basically loosen off. And once you've got into the tendons, that means you're in the right place to take the actual leg off. So we work the knife all the way around, and what we're looking is for that break, where it breaks off. It's a lovely crunching sound. Apparently that's not what you want to hear when you go skiing. You've never been skiing, don't you? You know what they're talking about, Rach. So it's nice and stiff there. Again, see, look, cut, it loosens off, where we basically cut those tendons out. So you go around again.
I mean, no resistance there, should there?
No, so it should be easy, and it should break really easily. It's not breaking reasonably easily, really easy. You're not breaking relatively easily, it's because you're cutting in the wrong place. That's all. Same with the front, do the front same, and we're looking for, just to find that joint. Pigs have got quite small feet, so basically the actual joint is a lot further up, so it's a much shorter leg than basically you'll find in a deer. And it's nice working with a smaller animal actually, because the beast that we had last time, that was
it took a hell of a long time to do it as well, didn't it?
So head, I'm just going to pull this to the side so we can take the head off. So with the head, it's the same sort of thing as basically what we do with the deer. So the deer, where the ears are on a deer, you run your knife flat onto where the ears are and go behind the ears, cutting into the animal. And what we're looking for is the joint just at the bottom of the neck, the atlas joint. And that atlas joint is sort of a W. This one here, obviously this animal's been shot in the head, so actually it's coming away quite easily because the neck has been destroyed. So it's going to come off a lot easier than basically if we were looking for the atlas joint. Actually I'm cutting through where the actual break is on the head, rather than basically going down to the atlas joint, because this has been destroyed at the back end. So with an animal like this, we're looking at a 308 cartridge minimum, which is what we shoot it with. That's the minimum basically caliber that we shoot a wild boar with. A lot of stalkers using 308s now. Creedmoor seems to be this thing that basically everybody's going for. Sometimes the Creedmoor can be a little bit of overkill, especially basically for woodland stalking. Although many people are basically going. You see that here where the whole of this has been destroyed here, so it's gone into the centre of the head. So yeah, 308. I tend to use basically 308. I'm just taking possession of. Can we hold that one there?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm just taking possession of basically a 308 Seiko 90. I've used Seiko rifles basically pretty much all my life when I've been stalking. I found them to be very accurate, and I'm confident with the rifle. Yeah, it's a great rifle. The one I've got a 75, which is basically now possibly about 17, 18 years old. And people are basically sort of trying to convince me to get rid of it. And I was going to get rid of it until my son went and shot his first roebuck with it. And now it's never going anywhere. It's staying at home. Yeah, so But that rifle, I mean, they're great rifles, great build. This rifle's so old, the one I've got, but it's so accurate and it works so well. I even went over to Czech Republic with a 100 grain bullet, and I actually shot one of these with a 100 grain bullet on my Seiko, on my 243, which basically out there you're allowed to do, not here, but out there you were.
So what knife are you using though?
So what I'm using here, just to basically start off, is I'm using the boning knife. This is a flint and flame boning knife. Nice thing about this knife is it's got that little curved blade. And that curved blade means that I can run the knife sideways onto the actual skin, and I can pretty much spin it away as I'm going. So I'm actually not cutting. I'm just like using the curvature of the knife to get right behind the skin.
It's got a good
And it
grip
works
handle as well, isn't
really well. Yeah, these are the Pro Series. So it's a new set of knives that basically come out for professionals, for chefs, and professionals in larder work. They do also do the Classic Series, which has basically got the rosewood handles, which I think both of us were able to do and me have used for many years.
But I really like these Pro Series.
Pro Series.
And they're here, aren't they?
They're great. We're just over there.
Over there.
Yeah, have a look at them let's see if they
And they're really good
go out.
at helping you with what you want. They're really...
They do a set of knives, which is basically the game knife set. Which is actually a set of knives that has every single knife that you would want to use for breaking down any animal on the larder. So, they're really good.
I think you need to tell them your story of when you first shot your first wild boar and and the advice they gave to you when you did it.
So I was out in Czech Republic, and I'm on a friend's estate, and the friend said to me, "What is it you want to shoot?" Just turn it around there. What is it you want to shoot? I've got just a complete circle up. So he said, "What do you want to shoot?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to shoot a wild boar." Just so I can work down on it. He said, "I'd like to shoot a wild boar, and I'd like to shoot a mouflon, right? Because we don't have them in this country, and it's basically they're the two species that I would like to shoot." So, "Do you want to shoot a red deer?" "No, I don't want to shoot a red deer. I'd just rather shoot those." So I went out with one guy, and I wanted to stalk it during the day rather than basically have it running. The guy said to me, the guy that took me out didn't speak any English, so we had Google Translate. So I was basically in Czech, I was typing in basically English, giving it to him, and he was typing in Czech and giving it to me in English. And we were trying to basically sort of have a conversation. And at one point, he turned around and he said to me, "Do you want to go into the woodland where the wild boar are resting?" Well, okay, I said, "Well, yeah, I thought that's what we're doing here, we're looking for them, aren't we?" And so he said to me, so I said yes. And he typed back in the thing, he started typing furiously. And he said to me, it was going to be very fast, it's going to be very close and quick. So I said, okay. So I looked at the text that he sent me and I wrote onto the text, "Is it going to be dangerous?" And he went, "Yeah." So I thought, okay, let's go. So, being the adventurer type that I am, so we got out into the woods, we walked for a few miles, basically through the middle of the woods, saw nothing, and then all of a sudden, he really sort of energetically sort of tapped on my shoulder and pulled me back. And there, about 60, 70 yards away, were about 4 or 5 wild boar. And they were snorting around. To tell you the truth, I hadn't heard them. You think that these great big animals make a lot of noise. My God, they don't make any sound whatsoever when they're walking through the foliage. So he's saying to me, "Well, there they are." He said, "Picked one out." He said, "That's the one you need to shoot. It's about this sort of size." And he said, "Picked it out." I thought, okay, no problem. Put the sticks up, got onto it, had loads of times because they didn't know we were there. Shot the round off, hit the animal square in the chest. The next thing, about 20 wild boar that had all been sleeping under trees got up and started running water. I screamed like a girl. I jumped up and down like you wouldn't believe, trying to get out of the way. There were pigs squealing everywhere. So much so I'd even lost sight of the one that I'd shot. Just basically trying to stay alive. So after all the excitement and everything had died down, the guy came over to me and said, "Congratulations." He said, "You shot really well. It's gone a little bit further up, right, and you'll be able to see it there." Okay, great, fine. So we walk up to where we think it is, and it's not there. So then in Czech Republic, they're they have to do all sorts of courses and exams basically before they're allowed to hunt. So these guys are all really well versed in basically tracking wild boar and tracking an injured animal, and they're really to the point of being anal about it. They're basically found the blood. They say to you, right, you stand there where the blood is, and then they go off looking for more blood. Then they find the blood again, and you stand there, and they go off looking again. And whereas we walk along and basically sort of track the blood as we went. So anyway, you track the blood, and you follow me along, and he lost the blood a few times. I had a little UV torch, so basically I used the UV torch, and we found the blood trail again. And we found the boar, only about sort of another 30-40 foot into the scrub. And as we found it, the boar was actually sitting there like that, with its head down. So I saw it, I went, oh, look, there it is, and started walking towards it. And he grabbed hold of me and pulled me back. He went, no, 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 no. He said, it's still alive. Well, still alive. And so I went, okay. And I'm looking at it, and I thought, that looked very alive to me. But I shot it. He said, take another shot at it. So I took the shot into the head, and it sort of keeled over on its side, and it sort of went like that. So obviously, yes, it was still alive. And then he explained to me that wild boar, if you injure them, and if they're mortally injured, but they're not dead, they will just lie up and wait for you to come. Yeah, and then they'll basically take you out. So it's a good job I was with this guy, because basically otherwise I wouldn't be here today basically talking about this. Well, I would, but I'd be limping in it.
You have one leg.
But it was, it was a real experience basically.
I love that story, because I can just see you, because you're always so full on, I can see you kind of going for it home, you know.
Well, if you'd seen me jumping around like an idiot in the woods,
I can,
that would be more funny.
Yeah.
But
This is a good size, isn't it, to do?
Yeah. I mean, this is a perfect size because this is a really nice meat on it.
And do you remember when we didn't have